Hey, American History students. I just wanted to make a quick video to welcome you to the course and to give you kind of an overview of how it's going to work and where you can find everything so that you are comfortable getting started in this 8-week course. So what you're looking at right now is our course homepage. If you're watching this video, you've already found your way here. So there are just a few things that I want to point out about the homepage. The first thing is that underneath the header here, you'll see a series of links under course resources. These are the most important links in the course. They're the most frequently used links in the course. So I put them all in one place so that you can find them. They include things like the course syllabus, the course schedule, grading policies, how and when to contact me, a link to my Teams office. When I have online office hours or virtual office hours, I'll be using my Teams office. So that's how you can pop in and talk to me. I do have in-person office hours in Marietta, but if you'd prefer to get in touch with me virtually, that's where you'll do it. There's a link to my calendar to sign up for an appointment if my regular office hours don't work for you. And then over here, you can see extra credit, case study help, and frequently asked questions link. Below that is a button that'll take you to the course content. If you click on that, it just takes you to wherever you left off in the course content. Pretty easy to stay on track that way. Below the course content link is the announcements. I will post announcements on a fairly regular basis, usually a couple of times a week. There'll be one at the beginning of every week to get you started, and then one kind of midweek to check in, just to make sure that everybody's on the same page and to make sure that you kind of know where we're going and how things are going so far. I would recommend that you sign up for notifications. If you click on the drop down arrow by announcements, you can sign up for notifications here, and that way you'll get alerted to whenever I post a new announcement so you won't miss anything. Over here in the right-hand column are the content browser and calendar. Pretty straightforward. The content browser is where all of the material in the course lives, so I'm going to walk through that in just a minute. And the calendar just keeps the dates. It's the dates of all the graded assignments that you have. So you'll see that on October 12th, you're going to have a perusal and a quiz. And then the Write Night is on the 16th, and then on the 19th, you have your week 2 assignments due. So, you can use the calendar to keep you on track as well. The dates, the due dates for this class can be found in a number of places. They can be found in the syllabus, they can be found in the course schedule. I will post them in the weekly announcements. They can be found in the calendar. So lots of ways for you to access the due dates for the courses, but essentially they're always due on Sunday evenings at 11:59 p.m. I would recommend that you transfer that to whatever calendar you check regularly so that you can stay on track. Okay, so let's go to the content browser so I can give you kind of an overview of how the course is going to work. You'll see that the course is an 8-week course, and the content browser is divided into eight folders, 8 modules. One corresponds with each week. So we are here in week 1. Week 1 is module 1, week 2 is module 2, week 3 is module 3, so on and so forth. So you'll always know which folder to click on based on the week that we're in. Whenever you click on that folder, you will find 4 subfolders. There's an overview folder, there's a readings and resources folder, there is a primary sources or case study folder, and then graded assignments. These are exactly what they sound like. If you click on the overview, it gives you, in this case, it's an overview of the course. You can click here and read. This is the same newsletter that I sent to your email, so you can read this if you want. When you're done with this link, you can click the next button. This will take you to the syllabus. Give the syllabus a look over so that you can make sure you're comfortable with where we stand. All right, so that is the orientation and class overview. There's a folder in here called How to Access the Course Material. If you click on that, it takes you to a link with our video lectures. The course does use video lectures, and each video lecture has a transcript if you prefer to read, so don't worry about that. And the video lectures are linked individually within each of the modules, but they all come from this website. So if I go here, module 1, and I just go to, let's say, the danger of a single story. If I click on this link, you'll see that it has the video, it has the transcript, the links, and then some key terms and guided viewing questions to keep you on track. The quizzes come from the video lectures. I have a link to a helpful textbook, but the questions don't come from the textbook. That's important. You should use it to supplement, not as a replacement for the video lectures. All right, so you'll have an overview folder, then you'll have readings and resources. Like I said, this is where you will find the video lectures, and they're linked individually. So here, Intro to Historical Thinking Skills, Danger of a Single Story. It just kind of walks you through step by step. Below the readings and resources, this week there is a What is a Case Study in History. This is a very helpful file to explain the major assignment or the major assignments for this course, and I'll talk about those in just a minute. But each week you'll have something pertaining to the case study kind of as the third subfolder. And then the final one is the graded assignments. I put all of the assignments that will be graded in a graded assignments folder so that you know exactly what you're expected. In week 1, you have a quiz and a perusal discussion. Starting in week 2, again, you see we have the overview, readings, and resources. These are the primary sources which will be used in the case study. And then for graded assignments, you have 3 graded assignments this week. There is the quiz, there's the perusal discussion, and then there's the case study. So let me talk about the case study. So each week, there's 7 weeks, well, there are 8 weeks in the course. Week 8 is devoted to the final reflection. We don't have a final exam in this course. Instead, there's a final reflection. It's not a super major assignment. It just asks you to look back over what you've learned in the course. So you can start thinking about that in like week 6, and I'll talk about it more in depth then. But for weeks 1 through 7, you will have the same basic structure. Different topics, but the same basic structure. You'll always have a quiz. You'll always have a perusal reading. For weeks 2 through 7, you'll also have the option of completing a case study. So there are 6 case studies or 6 case study options in this course. You have to complete 3 of them. You can choose whichever 3 you want. You can do the 3 you're most interested in. You can do the first 3 and get them out of the way. You can pick and choose based on how much time you have during the week. You can do the first 3, and if one doesn't go well, you can do a later one to replace that grade. However you want to use those opportunities is entirely up to you. But always have a quiz, always have a perusal discussion, and then you have 3 case studies out of the 7 weeks of learning. All right. The case studies are organized around the central historical question each week. So I always recommend that you start each week with the at a glance file. It includes a quick overview of the unit, and then what I call the central historical question. Each week we'll be trying to answer a question, and every piece of the course fits around this question. Every piece of the course helps you answer the question. The video lectures will give you background. The perusal will give you both secondary and primary sources that you can use. Kind of all of it, the primary source packet helps you give you evidence that you can analyze. All of it works together to help you complete the case study. I have a separate video, actually a couple of videos on how to complete the case study, so I'm not going to talk about it here, but make sure that you watch those case study videos so that you know what to expect. And then next week I will have a history write night where you can come and ask me questions that you might have. But always start here because you'll get the overview, the central historical question, the learning objectives, the case study, and a to-do list that will help you kind of stay on track. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about is perusal. Like I said, every week you're going to have a perusal discussion. We are using perusal for the discussions, not the traditional discussion board. I just find that it makes it easier to really engage in a conversation. So if you were to, actually let me go back. If you were to go to week 2, and then I'm coming all the way down here to the graded assignments, and I click on week 2 perusal discussion, it would take me to essentially this. You can see all of the folders over here. All of the assignments over here. And then on the right-hand side, you have the instructions. Every perusal after week 1 has 3 parts. There's a video, there is the secondary source article, and then there's primary source packet. And this is what you need to do with that. You need to watch the video overview. You need to read the secondary source article and make 3 comments on it. And then you need to read at least 2 of the primary sources, not the whole packet, but at least 2 of the primary sources, and make 4 comments on that. Okay, so if I open this, you can see what it looks like. All right, so here's part 1. This is the video. Part 2 is the secondary source article. Part 3 is the primary source packet. Perusall allows you to make comments on the text. So if I want to make a comment on this, I would just highlight the stuff that I want to make a comment on, pops up here, and I can start typing. All right. I can also, let's just say I want to make a comment on this picture instead of on the text. I can come up here and switch to annotate figure, and that lets me just click on a picture and type here. So annotate text, annotate figure. So you'll have this each week. It's a good way to have conversations about the material, and everything in Perusall will help you with the case study. It's all kind of designed to work together with the case study. So that is, pretty much my spiel. It's my overview of the course. If you have questions, please feel free to ask them. I have a couple of places you can do that. If you have questions at this point, you can come to the discussion board, and there's a forum for any questions you can ask there. And then if you have questions for each individual week, you can put those here. So that just alerts me that you have a question. I have also set up in Perusall a practice assignment with the syllabus. This lets you, it puts the syllabus in here, and then it lets you also practice with highlighting and getting used to Perusall before you really have to do anything that's graded. So I look forward to the class. I look forward to learning with you this semester and to hearing your thoughts on American history. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know, and I am ready to get started.